Hello and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Joris and today I am here with a video with two main parts. So the first part is that I'm going to talk about the dividends that are coming, because in most countries the dividend season is about to begin. So a lot of companies are going to start paying out their dividends, and the first ones being then those paying out in March. And then the second part is mainly about the website ExtraETF, where you can do research towards stocks and ETFs, and also find out when they are actually going to pay out their dividends. I really like this website. Sadly enough, it's not available for everybody. So you have to maybe circumvent a bit the fact that you aren't living in the right country, but if you can do that and you can use the feature of ExtraETF, you certainly should consider using that website. So as I said, it's the start of the dividend season, and here in Switzerland it's a tradition. Novartis is the first company to pay out its dividend, and it's going to go ex-coupon on the 11th of March. And here you can see the value. It's 3.5 Swiss francs, the adjusted value, because right now the number of shares of Novartis hasn't changed. So when it would change in the future, you will see that this adjusted value will be amended and recalculates then this value towards the value that should have been paid out, would it be on that day in time when you are looking then in the future. And that's more or less when you look in the tables for Nestle and Novartis even, and you go back in time, you will see the number differentiate between value and adjusted value, and then the adjusted value is actually more correct in seeing the dividend evolution of the company than the actual value that was paid out back in the days. So that's just as a back information, or just a little thing that you should know when you're looking at those tables. But probably the Swiss dividend ETFs that pay out their first dividend in March will follow shortly after the dividend that they receive the dividend from Novartis. But so far, the ones that pay out for the first time in March, so that are these six ones, and CHDVD, that my wife and I, we buy that one for our children, and it's actually also the best one of the bunch, in my opinion. So not financial advice, but so far they haven't announced their first dividend of the year yet. Most of the time they also do it pretty late. So especially CHDVD and CHSPI, it's most of the time only one day beforehand that you will know that they are going to go ex-coupon, and then it's being paid out then pretty fast actually from iShares. I think it's 1 or 2 days after the ex-coupon day that you already received the dividend. So it goes quite fast. So you have to pay attention whether or not you will be able to buy this ETF, these ETFs, if you want to buy them, of course, before they go ex-coupon for their first dividend of the year. So of course, I already bought it for our children at the end of last month. So they have their total ETF already up to the mark. So I'm looking forward to telling my children that they received the dividend, and hopefully then they get enthusiastic about receiving dividends as well, and then they can continue that later on in their lives as well. Then the dividends for March for our ETF portfolio, I have a few updates now, because the last time when I gave this overview in the update of the ETF portfolio, it was all not announced yet, but now XYLF, they announced it. So the ex-coupon date was on the 6th of March, and they are going to pay it out on the 14th of March, so next Friday. And the amount is up slightly compared to the dividend that they paid out last year in March. So that's again good news for our ETF portfolio. Then you have VHYL. Still not announced yet. Then you have LDG. On the official website of LDG, the ETF, you don't have the information yet, but on the SIX stock exchange, it's always the case. It's always every quarter, in fact. On the SIX stock exchange, you can already see the X coupon date and the amount standing. So I put it here as well. I don't know whether or not it's going to be completely correct because I couldn't check it on the actual website of the ETF, but it's it's a really small amount, LDG, that it's always higher in June, then it's the highest amount for LDG. So I'm still going to try to pick up as much as possible LDG before the main dividend of June. Then FLXD, still not announced yet, but EMHD, the ETF that we picked up for the first time last month, they announced their ex-coupon date on the 13th of March, so just the same day as LDG. And the record date is going to be the 14th, and they are going to pay out on the 20th of March, and it's going to be $0.213. And dividends for March for my Yuh-portfolio, yeah, I have 11 shares, but besides the dividend of ENG, the extra dividend of ENG in January, there were no dividends in February, and there are not going to be dividends in March as well. Nestle and BKW or BKW are going to pay out their dividend in April. And then we can go over to ExtraETF. I think this is the best website to search for dividend data of ETFs and stocks for Europeans. If you want to go more in detail about what is in the ETF and stuff, then I always go to just ETF. But when I first search for dividend data and also for stocks of European companies, I always check out Extra ETF because I really like the site. But it's only available for Germany, France, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, and Australia. Austria, sorry. I always make that mistake a bit, but now it was a bad one. But yeah, when we go to the site, this is the beginning site of the opening page of the website. And here you can see it's a Swiss cross because I'm in Switzerland, of course. And I can only say, give it in German. So I can also put it in French, of course. But yeah, I'm going to leave it in German because Switzerland, Austria, and Germany, they both have the German language, and then you have Italian and French and Spanish. I can speak French quite good. I can speak German quite good. Italian, I'm learning, and Spanish, I tried to learn that back in the day, but yeah, habla español. That's all I still remember, and dos cervezas, por favor. But everybody knows those phrases, of course, or dos agua, por favor, sin gas. Everybody knows those kind of sentences, of course. But the main thing here on the website is the search part, so zoeken. And you can do ETF zoeken or action zoeken, so ETFs or stock searches. And if you go there, you can see that you can have information about 8,859 companies. So the first thing that I do is always go to the land, and yeah, I'm from Belgium originally, so I'm going to pick Belgium. So you have 54 companies from Belgium that you can research here, and then you can go to Dividend and you say, yes, I want stocks with dividends. So there were 11 companies without a dividend, but 43 with a dividend. And then you can go to dividend and interval, and then you can say, yeah, you can see that of those 43, there are 33 companies that pay out yearly. As I said, that's really annoying. I think it should be quarterly, and there is only one company that pays quarterly, and that company is CMB. And CMB Tech, NV, and that's not a really great company to invest in. Look at this, the dividend indeed is 61.62%. So yeah, it's a it's a quite high dividend yield, so not that great to invest in. But look at this, half yearly, then you get the 9 companies that do that. So you have KBC Group, KBC Ancora. Actually, KBC Ancora is a better buy than KBC Group. You can also see that in the dividend yield, because you always buy KBC Ancora with a lower valuation. So it's actually a holding that holds KBC Group in it, and you have to pay less money compared to the amount of KBC that is in KBC Ancora. So that's always a thing that you have to think about. So the intrinsic value of KBC Ancora lies all the time higher than the course, right? Than the actual value of the stock that you buy on the stock market. But those are the only companies that pay 2 times in the year in Belgium, and then you have the companies that pay yearly. And yeah, Anheuser-Busch, that's of course the one that I have. So you have now momentarily 58.25 euros for Anheuser-Busch. So it's also still constantly updating, although it's 6 hours and 45 minutes already. So the stock market is already closed, but still it's moving up and down, which is actually not possible because the market is closed already. But you can also go to another country. Then you have to deselect Belgium, and you can go to, I will go to Switzerland. So you have 108 companies, and then the dividend interval, yeah, when I click it, yearly 108, you have quarterly it's 3, and you have different values 3. So let's check those 6 out. I can only select one, sorry for that. So you have Schupp Limited, and that's a company that Berkshire Hathaway has bought a lot of stocks from. Then you have TE Connectivity, and then you have Garmin. So yeah, it are good companies, but you can't buy them actually on the SIX stock exchange. You can only buy them on the New York Stock Exchange. So you also have to check that, of course. And for the rest, you have 108 companies that pay out annually. I think the companies here in Switzerland should certainly consider to switch to paying quarterly, because look at the numbers that they are going to pay out. So dividend rendite is 3.13%. So dividend yield 3.13%. Novartis here, it isn't depicted, so that's a bit strange, because we know that it's 3.5 Swiss francs that they are going to pay out. So they should be able to calculate it, but that's always a bit the case. You can see how much the dividend yield is going to be for most of the companies. Novartis is an exception, but yeah, you always have to look a bit. Then you have the ETF search that you can do. So in total in Switzerland you have 3,115 products. So you have 1,770 ETFs that invest into stocks. You have 1,005 that invest into bonds. So I'm not interested in all the rest. Okay, you can say where is it here, the real estate 35. Those are also a bit yeah. When you want to diversify your portfolio. You can also invest in towards real estate, of course, but the actual stocks are the most important ones. So here you can go for which countries, but I don't really like to do that. I like it just the way it is. So search for everything, and then I go to Ausschüttung, which is dividend, and I say yes. So of the 1,770 that invest into stocks, you have 562 that pay out dividends, and I think you could actually also say how they product type. Where you could say how whether or not it is swap based or replication art. That's where it is. So I'm not going to include the synthetic ones. So of the 562, 52 are not what I like to see. So I don't like the synthetic ones. So I'm going to take the physical ones. So optimiert and vollständig. And then you can go to the Ausschüttungsmonate and or here Ausschüttungsintervall monatlich. There is only one that pays out monthly when you don't select the synthetic, and that's the Global X Super Dividend UCITS ETF, so the SDIF or SDIP. You know, I don't like it that much because in the beginning of its life, the Super Dividend UCITS ETF was more like a dividend trap. The past year, it also underperformed the market quite considerably, but at least it didn't lost a lot of value in the past year. But the Global X Super Dividend UCITS ETF isn't considered to be a synthetic one, but if you click the synthetic ones, so I'm going to delete those ones, then you have the Nasdaq 100 and the Global X S&P 500 one. So those two, you know those, and the XYLF, the S&P 500, is the one that I have in our ETF portfolio. And here, when you don't select anything, you also get the ones from JP Morgan. So that's a bit strange, but you know that we have 6 monthly paying dividend ETFs in Europe, and it's only like this that you can see them all 6. And the JEPG, the Global Equity Premium Income Active Usage ETF, is one that I really like and that I would invest towards when it would have been available 2 years ago. I think I would have started investing into the JEPG, but yeah, it wasn't available. And then last year I started with the Global X S&P 500 cover call, and it's more expensive, 0.45. If I had the possibility to invest into the JEPG last year at the same time, I would have gone for the JEPG. But don't understand me wrong, I'm certainly not going to stop investing into the XYLF. I'm going to stick to it because the plan is to get US dollars to invest towards the emerging market ETF where we want to put our dollars towards. But you get the idea. So when you say here, I want 4 times a year paying, and then you go to the months, you see that March is the most common month for quarterly paying dividend ETFs to start paying out their yearly dividend. So it's always the same, 96, 96, 96, 96. When you delete this one and you look then you see that you have a lot of ETFs that come in the month of February as well, together with August, and that is because UBS is paying out their dividends for their dividend ETFs in February and in August. So that's why you see an increase in those months. So then it's half yearly that you have to select. And when you select half yearly and February, you will see that you have a lot of UBS ETFs that become available. But you can play around with this website and yeah, just select what you want to search at, and then sometimes the total expense ratio here on this website isn't totally correct, so always go and check on Just ETF. There the total expense ratios are correct, so then you can go over to Just ETF and do your continued research there. But here I will take here the UBS Eurostoxx 50. Here you have also a lot of information about the ETF, but I'm more used to the Just ETF website to do my research there. So that is just a preference of me. But if you get used to this website, it is perfectly fine to do your complete research here. You also have here the allocations, so with the top 10 holdings, the regions here, and also the allocations to the different land to the different countries, and also the different industry branches. So pretty good website, and definitely go and check it out if you want to start investing into ETFs or stocks. I think it's a pretty good website. So is it the best time to go and buy dividend ETFs right now or stocks? Well, yes, probably for ETFs before the 13th of March, because a lot of ETFs are going to have their ex-coupon date on the 13th, as I have two as well in our ETF portfolio. And then you will receive the four dividends from those quarterly paying ETFs for this year. But you should also remember that you are paying for the dividend that is included in the price of the ETF. So when it's X coupon, you can buy it cheaper just after the time that it went X coupon. And that's on the morning of the X coupon date. So the first trading of the day, the dividend is deducted from the price of the ETF, and then you can put in an order to try to pick it up at a lower price. And when the dividend is being paid out to you, so when you buy it, for example, on the 10th of March, and you buy the ETF with the dividend included, you will get paid out the dividend, but you will have to pay the withholding taxes on the dividend. And that's also a bit of a tax burden. But you know that I do it always. I buy it at the end of the month before the X coupon date is there for the ETF. So for SDGPX, I always done it like that in the past, and I try to do it as much as possible for GLDV, VHYL as well. LDG, okay, that one I picked up two times before. So in February and in January. It's only going to go X coupon this month, but I need to build up my position in LDG because it's way too low compared to our core satellite strategy. And the main thing is it keeps me motivated. And when I see the X coupon date, then it hits my head. Okay, next month it's going to pay out a dividend. So let's pick up extra shares, and then I see the dividend coming in and it's way higher than the year before, and that really motivates me. And I know that I pay more taxes and that I can buy probably, yeah, I don't have that much money to invest, of course, but if you have a lot of money, then it can be that buying it with the dividend included, that you can buy one share, two shares, three shares less, and then okay, it's going to weigh a bit on your overall performance, because then, yeah, without the taxes on your dividend, you aren't going to be able to buy the next time with the dividend that you received the same amount of shares back that you couldn't buy the, yeah, with the price that still included the dividend. But for me, I don't think it's that important because I don't have that much money. So 900 Swiss francs every month, that's actually not that much. For some people, it seems quite a lot, but there are people that earn a lot more money than us, and yeah, they are fortunate enough to be able to invest a lot. But for me, the motivation is the main thing, and it motivates me to keep continuous cost averaging into the stock market because that's still the main thing to do. And the stock markets are going up and down like crazy. Certainly, these past few weeks, it's incredible. 4 days ago, the stock market was down 3%. The next day, it was up 3%. The next day, it was again up 3%. Yesterday, the stock market was worldly, and in the USA, it was down, but in Europe, it was up. And today, it was in the beginning of the day, it was down, and then it moved up again. It's incredible how volatile the markets are. And yeah, the ETF portfolio, our ETF portfolios actually holding up quite nicely. And our XYLF ETF already went ex coupon. So that was yesterday. And then it was minus 14 Swiss francs on I could see it on the GetQueen app. But I wasn't worried about it because I knew it was the coupon that left the value of the ETF, and that will hit my account next week. So it's it's uh it's not a problem. And my Yuh-portfolio is actually gaining in value because BASF was up quite a lot, DHL as well, with the result that they put out. So the main thing is every month I see our future yearly dividend number go up. And seeing that number go up, this is why I love doing my investing into good dividend ETFs and in good dividend companies. And I need to stress the fact that it need to be good dividend ETFs. And you know the drill, the currency fluctuations, of course, also influence the future yearly dividend that we have because SDGPX, yeah, it's the highest amount that we receive in dividends every year, and it's in euro. So the euro, it shot up yesterday, I think, yeah, from 0.94 to 0.96, and then I immediately see a huge rise in our dividend value, but I know it's only temporary because the next day the ECB lowered their interest rate with 0.25%, and then you know the value of the euro is going to come down again compared to the Swiss francs. So it is the way it is. Now I'm hoping that the Swiss central bank is also going to lower the interest rate here in Switzerland, so that we have to pay less rent, and then maybe I can put aside a little bit more cash because our taxes are due in a few weeks, and I need to save up for that one as well. So like this, it motivates me to keep pouring money into the stock market month after month after month, and I don't think I would have the same motivation to do the same if I just had accumulating ETFs that go up and down but don't give me dividends at all. But we will never know for sure because I only invest in dividend paying ETFs. and I wouldn't do it any other way. So I really can't say whether or not it's true, because I also know what compounding does, and accumulating ETFs, they are compounding as well. You can't actually see it in the same way as with dividends. But yeah, it's just a psychological thing, and for me it helps a lot. It also motivates my wife to see the number go up, and now I try to move more and more towards our core satellite strategy that we agreed upon. So me and my wife, that's also really important, that you agree with your partner about what you are going to do with your, yeah, with your money that you earned and that you could save. And slowly but steadily we are getting there. And let me know in the comments down below which dividends you are expecting in March and how much it's going to be or something like that. If you don't want to say it, how much, just let me know from which company or which ETF you are going to receive dividends. And with that being said, thank you for watching to this one, and see you on the next one on my YouTube channel. Bye.